background, usually there's like a fireplace playing on the TV,
Oh, yeah.
which is like a nice little ambiance, but then all these random ads come up that are just part of this, screensaver.
Right.
So it's a little distracting sometimes when something random.
That's Roku. Okay, I was wondering, 'cause I've seen that screen, that scrolling screensaver before somewhere, not the exact events like this one coming up here, but I remember seeing that at my sister-in-law's house. I'm thinking maybe.
Well, and it's funny because you're like, oh, it's so relaxing. And then one time there was like a baby diaper commercial, and it was like not relaxing.
Not relaxing, yeah.
To explain it, but are we live?
We are live.
Or maybe it's Get Closer with Juicy Fruit Gum, or whatever it is.
Exactly. Get a little closer. I have to get. You guys are just playing me.
I honestly thought, I thought, I think you're right. I think it was gum. For some reason, I thought initially it was like deodorant or something like that. But
It's either gum or mouthwash or toothpaste.
Good morning.
Hey, Dean.
Hey there. Hi there.
Good morning. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi. Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we wanted to start out our live this morning. We have Russ Milano here with the Community Impact Team.
Hey, Russ.
Go. Oh, there you are.
Dan, where's your volume?
Up on the side. Yeah.
This side?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We're gonna turn the volume up, down, up.
Up. There we go. Okay.
Hi.
Perfect.
So, Dean, thanks for hopping in real quick.
No
problem. Pardon?
I said no problem. Glad to be here.
So we interviewed Dean last week in our pre-recorded.
Yeah.
We were telling Russ about this, and that episode comes out today, and it's available on Spotify and YouTube and all the other channels. So we were hoping we'd just come in and chat with you for a second and kind of talk about what people can hear more of when they listen and tune into the podcast. So the idea is if you could talk just like a Reader's Digest version of what your company is up to, what it's called, what you're up to. Give a little teaser about what people are going to learn about when they listen to the full.
Absolutely. Well, Ann and Katie are excellent moderators. I guess being in the fireside chat business for a couple of years, ask great questions. Really enjoyed the time, but I think maybe the centerpiece of maybe the highlight is you guys promoted the midlife discussion. So I think I talked about at age 40, me taking stock of career and what I wanted to do and putting some different ideas out there and, having an opportunity to lean into several passions and to leave the kind of the safe confines of corporate life and bet on myself and starting the company Revel Moments, which I guess listeners will learn is a platform that was created to make it easier for athletes and fans to connect and to humanize athletes in the process. But that's, I guess, the Reader's Digest version. I guess maybe Ann and Kate are happy to, if you think there's an area you want me to go deeper on, but no, it was fun.
Yeah. Well, and you also talked about your involvement in the Jalen Rose Academy and Eastside Golf. We talked a little bit about those things. Can you give a brief description of what those two organizations are all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So rocking Eastside this morning. Eastside Golf is a golf brand that was started 4 years ago by two friends of mine, Earl and Olajuwon, and I've had a chance to be a part of their journey, helping write the business plan, raise capital. As I share on the podcast, we caught the attention of this athlete. Some folks maybe have heard of Michael Jordan, and
played baseball for a while.
Yeah, number 45. But having MJ get behind the brand and really just starting an amazing journey with Earl and Olajuwon to really make the game of golf more inclusive. But wearing the hat here today, so shared about that, and then very proud of the work that I've been doing for several years with Jalen, with the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy at high school, grades 9 through 16. You're asking what is 16? We feel like it's our job to continue to support our students after high school. We went deep on that as well. So I think I guess the main takeaway, hopefully, from the podcast is bet on yourself. I think that's the best bet to make. And if you do that, you got to have a plan. You got to put deliverables, you got to put dates on it. And then I think I also shared kind of the mental journey for me in terms of making the leap was actually counterintuitive. I imagined if I crashed and burned with my startup, could I recover? And I concluded I could. And then so once I kind of had that mental kind of journey, it was time to go. So I think I encourage folks to take the leap.
Yeah. And I feel like you're such a good example of a serial entrepreneur, and I think if anybody's out there wondering, like, should I do that? Should I try to start that business? Should I, venture out? I think the podcast is a good place to start because you have a lot of solid advice. You've done it. You've lived it. So I'm just like all those future entrepreneurs out there, tune in.
Good message.
It is a good message.
In our Instagram stories too this morning, we shared a bunch of different links. So links to where you can find the podcast on Spotify, you can find it on YouTube, and then pretty much everything we talked about during the podcast we've linked in our stories. Also, I know you guys were talking about the mural tour that you did.
Yes. What was that called?
Yeah, Murals in the Market.
Yes.
Yeah, Murals in the Market, produced by 1X Run, Jesse and Rula and Dan. So it's an amazing, kind of annual event in downtown Detroit in Eastern Market.
And then the restaurant with your bar stool. What restaurant is that?
Central Kitchen.
Okay.
Yep, Central Kitchen. You got it.
You also learn more, but Dean owns a stool there. Maybe
And I'm a small investor, which is probably equivalent of a bar stool. But happy to share that bar stool with any folks from Clarkston that want to make the trip.
That's amazing. Awesome. So the other thing you left us with was a recommendation for our next podcast guest. And we're really excited because Brett is joining us tomorrow in studio.
Okay.
Can you give a little shout out and explain, why you recommended he come on and talk to us?
Yeah, Brett Golliff is an amazing sneaker designer. He's been in sneaker design for probably 15 years, spent several years with New Balance, but he decided to take a little break from designing sneakers and decided that he wanted to design cars. So he actually went to GM and helped the Corvette team designing several Corvettes, and then came back to sneaker world a few years ago, and now has his own design agency. Is working with several brands. Brett lives in Clarkston, so maybe once or twice a month you see a couple of sneakerheads having coffee at Honcho. That would be myself and Brett, really kind of plotting his next chapter. And helping him grow his business. But Brett's got an amazing story, so I'm excited for more folks from Clarkston to get to know him and his story, and maybe learn more about some of the brands that he designs for.
Excellent. Yeah, we're super excited. And thanks for the recommendation. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, all right. Thank you for popping on this morning.
Thanks. And I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy the podcast that you're featured in.
Yes.
So
Sounds good. Thank you guys.
All
right.
See you, Dean.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Yeah. He just ends his. This is the end. Let's find out.
There we go. All right.
So our last one went a little differently. We were just kind of getting into the split screen.
You saw 3 minutes of my finger start.
Exactly. TV was like, well, we were trying to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
But we're getting there, aren't we?
Yes.
We're getting there.
There's been significant improvement over the past year.
You can hear us and we're not sideways.
Yeah.
So that is definitely. Well, so today, let's get back to today. We have Russ Milano here with us with the Community Impact Team.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
My pleasure.
Actually, this is another recommendation, which is really, I love this part about what we're doing. So we always ask people who come on, who would you recommend we chat with next? And one of the connection we had was Sissy Phillips at the library. Hi, Sissy, if you're listening and watching, she recommended we chat with you. You've got a lot of community involvement, which we're super excited to hear more about. So welcome, and thanks, Sissy, for the recommendation.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sissy. She's our social media queen. She is fantastic. So
It is amazing.
We hear a lot of shout outs to her. Great things to say.
Yeah.
you
So
need to get her on camera next time.
we will. Okay, yes. That's an invitation. That's right there. Tell us, before we get into what you're doing, what's your connection to Clarkston? How do you find yourself here? Have you been here a long time? What's your connection?
Sure. So my wife and I and our family moved to the area in 2000, and we spent. We actually were like right between Clarkston and Lake Orion. So depending on who you asked, we either lived in Clarkston or Lake Orion. I said Clarkston because we had a Clarkston mailing address.
Okay.
My wife said Lake Orion because our kids went to school in Lake Orion. But we found a church in Clarkston that we love, Clarkston Community Church, right on Clarkston Road by the high school. And we joined there about 15 years ago and have been members active in the community ever since.
Nice. Okay. And your kids are dragons?
My kids are dragons, yes.
Is that a little contentious with some Clarkston people?
It hasn't been what I've been doing. They are welcome whenever we go around Clarkston, and they're out of high school now, in college, and one's out of college, so they don't wear a lot of dragon wear anymore. So it doesn't usually cause a whole lot of problems.
That's good. Good to know. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I think it's only like our sports rivalry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway.
It's a good fun rivalry.
Yeah. No, it's all in good fun. So, okay, we were talking about how I've done the Impact Weekend years ago at the Clarkson Family Farm, but that's not where it began. So, we're going to talk a lot about the Community Impact Team that you're the new executive director for.
Yes.
But you've been involved for 12 years, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about that whole
So,
journey.
Community Impact Weekend started 12, 13 years ago as a collaboration between multiple churches, businesses, other nonprofit organizations in Clarkston and the surrounding community to go out twice a year and help people who need help. It could be helping with yard cleanup, cleaning out gutters. It could be small home repairs. It could be working with community gardens like the Clarkson Family Farm or Bittersweet Farm, or in some of the local food pantries like Oakland Hope. And so partnering with all these different organizations twice a year, we bring together anywhere between 500 and 800 volunteers on a weekend to go out in the out in the community on Saturday and Sunday and serve. So our group, as part of the planning committee, was basically like the matchmaker. All people who want to volunteer within the community, whether you're part of a church or a nonprofit, maybe you're a business and you want your employees to go out and serve, or you're just an individual who just lives in the area and you want to volunteer but know how to get plugged in. We make it easy twice a year for you to basically go out, find 30 different projects, find the one you want at a time you want, and sign up. And we've been doing that for about 12 or 13 years, and that's how we kind of got started with what we call Community Impact Weekend. Now, in parallel to that, we had an organization called My Habitat Clarkston, which was a collaboration between Habitat for Humanity Oakland County, as well as several churches and businesses in the area. And their goal was what Habitat does, right? Provide sustainable housing and low-cost housing, or help families who need housing get housing. Well, Clarkston's kind of a high rent district when it comes to buying properties and renovating. So they started off, they did some great projects. For the last few years, it's become cost prohibitive. And so we've done a lot more projects that are smaller repairs to allow people to stay in their existing homes. And so we kind of transitioned maybe the last 2 or 3 years from how we build new houses to how we help fix and repair existing homes for people in the area.
Right.
Help them stay in the homes they already have. And then twice a year do these big projects where we clean up the area and get everybody involved. And that's kind of how our new organization decided we would form. And now we're a 501c3. We stand on our own, but we still have a lot of the same sponsors. We've got multiple businesses in the area who either donate money, their time, or their goods at a discount to help us. And it's been a fantastic run for the last year that we really just got started.
Nice.
That's so great. And I'm thinking about, like my son and I had gone to volunteer to put together Thanksgiving baskets.
Yes.
Maybe with, I want to say, was that with Lighthouse?
Probably.
Okay, thanks. I should know. But,
Yes.
and there were so many like big corporate organizations there where they just gave their employees like the day, and that's what they did is they went and put together these baskets. And I think that there's such a good opportunity for Clarkston businesses to, like you're saying, organizations, businesses to get involved. It's a team building thing that helps the community. Like I love that that's happening right here.
Yeah, there have been several businesses that have supported the mission of My Habitat Clarkston, which supported us for so many years. So Bowman Chevrolet, huge supporter of ours, helped out financially, helping with the annual fundraising events, as well as providing, signage and things like that. Also working with Chase Plastics. So Chase Plastics, the last few Community Impact Weekends, has sent a team of people on a Friday, right before Impact Weekend, and so they kind of kicked it off for us. So shout out to my friends at Chase Plastics and Gustina. They used to take and come out with a group of people, and they would help at different places on Friday before Saturday and Sunday's big projects would start. And they volunteer all day on Friday as a business. So if there are businesses who want to get involved and say, yeah, my employees want to volunteer during the week, not on Saturday or Sunday, they can contact me and we can actually set up a project for them on Friday. We've also had support over the years through Lowry's Landscape, the Fed, Hilltop have all been some great sponsors of My Habitat Clarkston. And now we've got several others that are coming on board as part of our new group, the Community Impact Team, to sponsor us or be partners with us, like Ace Hardware of Clarkston.
That's so great. So how do individuals and or businesses or community groups sign up to be the part of the project? Like, hey, I need to make my house more wheelchair accessible. How do I how do I get involved or get
Ask for the
ask for
help.
the help? Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So the best way to do it now is go to our website. It's www.thecommunityimpactteam.org. And when you go there, you're going to see 3 tabs. One says request help.
Mhm.
And so if you're a homeowner or you know of someone who maybe they're a senior citizen and they don't have anybody living close by that can help them out with simple things outside or in the house, they can sign up there.
Okay.
If it's a family or a single parent maybe living in an impoverished situation, you can sign up there. Likewise, if you're a volunteer or if you just want to donate, you can do it at the website. That's kind of the hub for everything. You'll go there, you'll learn more about us, you'll learn how to get plugged in, and we need just as many people to volunteer, but we also need people to say, I need help.
Right.
And it's kind of hard to reach out and ask for help sometimes, but that's what we're here for. And we want to make sure we know about all the people that need help one way or another in our community. But I'll give one caveat to that. What we're not trying to do is just give away free stuff. And some people say, so you guys are a charity. Well, we're more of a nonprofit offering a hand up to people who want to change their circumstances. Maybe there's been a medical situation in their family that's caused a parent not to be able to work. Maybe they've lost a job. Maybe there's been a fire. Maybe they've been struggling with drugs and alcohol for years. For whatever reason, they're in a situation where they just can't get themselves out of it on their own.
Yeah.
We want to help them, lift them up. There are plenty of organizations that will give away free stuff. We want to help you change where you're going in your life. And if you're interested in that, please go and sign up on our website. We would love to help you out.
Was it all individuals? Because I know you help the Clarkson Family Farm, so it's other nonprofits that you help as well, or?
Yeah, we have 3 main charters. So it's do home repairs for people who need home repairs and can't afford to do them themselves, or they don't have the skills.
Yeah.
Do yard cleanup. So raking leaves, trimming bushes, cleaning up the clutter in the backyard. We help people with that. When it's warmer. But we also help people get access to nutritious food. And that means sometimes growing the food locally at community gardens like Clarkson Family Farm, Bittersweet Farm. There are multiple community gardens in the area. And so we help prepare the gardens in the spring, help throughout the summer doing the weeding and all that, and then harvesting in the fall and then winterizing it. So people like to be outdoors. You can either do yard cleanups for maybe senior citizens, or you can go and volunteer at a community garden locally, help grow food that's then going to be given to people locally who need that food. And then also we do help people who need access to the food. If they can't get to one of the food banks, because there are so many great food banks locally and food distribution organizations, we can help them get to those locations to get the food that they need.
Okay. I did see too on your website where you could request help, but you could also request help for a neighbor.
Yes.
Which I think is nice because I think a lot of times, people may not know that this opportunity exists, and sometimes it is hard to ask for help. And I also have to imagine that if somebody contacts you and maybe you aren't the right fit, that you have resources where you can direct them to a place that maybe could help.
Yeah, absolutely. We've added a resources page on our website, but also they can just talk to us if they need help.
Okay.
But we aren't a social services organization. We don't do that. There are certain things we don't do. Like people call up and say, hey, I need food. Can you give me food? I don't have food to give you, but I can connect you with the people that can. So we are building a network of the existing organizations in the area, again, Clarkston, surrounding communities, who can help people, whatever those needs are. So if we can't fulfill it, we're not just going to say, no, we don't do that, goodbye. It's how do we help connect you with the people that can help whatever your need is. And most people that we run into have multiple needs, and we know we can't do all of them. So what we want to do is fulfill the ones we can and connect them with help where they can get the others fulfilled.
So you're the executive director.
Yes.
And who's on your team? Who helps you manage all this?
So we have a cross community board of directors. We have John Lucido from the schools. We have Pastor Greg Henneman, Hireman from, Pastor Greg Henneman is my pastor. Pastor Jonathan Hireman from Calvary Lutheran Church, and Mark Lewis from Waypoint Church. We've had a couple other board members who are on sabbatical right now or on a short leave from Jason Haley from Ace Hardware and Gustina from Chase Plastics. So we've had some different board members kind of come on and move off the board. We're looking for a few more board members right now. But right now we got 3 churches represented, the schools. We're very integrated working with the library, the senior center, the Friends of the Senior Center are very instrumental in what we do. And there's a couple other churches that help out on the volunteer weekends but aren't active on the board right now. And then in addition, our good friend Sissy Phillips at the library is our social media queen. So, but as an organization, we have 0 employees.
Okay.
So everybody who volunteers, all the board members, none of us take any pay from this.
Okay.
We are 100% volunteer based. So the money that people donate, the gifts that they give, we want to use those to help those who need help. We're not looking to make a paycheck off of this.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you're volunteering a lot of time and
Yeah, my wife says I retired so I can take on a new job.
yeah.
What did
I
you
love it.
retire from?
I used to be in IT consulting
Okay.
and software sales. So for 30 years, I did a bunch of IT stuff around the Detroit area and globally. And then I found this calling and said, you know what? I've been blessed enough to be able to retire financially, so let's retire. And when I'm not doing this, my wife and I love to travel and try to eat healthier and work out and see our friends and have fun. But Tuesdays, Thursdays during the day, I love to be out helping people, and so try to volunteer every week and also help grow the organization.
That's amazing. So I know you have 2 weekends. So what are the two? I mean, I know there's more to it, but what are the 2 weekends coming up? Or one's in April, right? Can you talk about those 2 weekends and specifically where people can enter in and help?
Sure. The upcoming Impact Weekend is the last weekend in April, so the 27th and 28th of April. And we'll have somewhere around 500 volunteers, somewhere between 30 to 40 different project locations around the area that will be helping out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you pick what project on your website? Is that what you do? Like, I'm going to volunteer. I want to go here. You can select where you go.
Yes.
Okay.
If you go to the communityimpactteam.org website, you'll see a link at the top of the homepage that says Impact Weekend. Click on that. It'll take you to a Sign Up Genius. On Sign Up Genius, you'll see all the projects listed. The dates, the times, a description of what skills are needed. And we've got projects for everyone from preschoolers up through people in their 70s and 80s. So if you're saying, well, I can't climb up on a roof and fix a roof, or I'm not going to go out and rake leaves, that's okay. We've got all kinds of projects that we can do indoors, outside, for all age groups, all physical abilities. You get to pick which one you want to be on, and you get to pick the day and the time. You can pick multiple projects if you want. We're okay with that as well. We have some people who just love and are very skilled and talented at taking photos and videos of our volunteers. So they're our photo crew. Mm-hmm. So they go around Saturday and Sunday and take a lot of photographs, videos. We've had some drone footage done before, what the volunteers do. We have some people who volunteer to deliver the food to our volunteers. We provide lunch. Mm-hmm. Little Caesars will provide us with 600 pizzas on Sunday. So
one pizza for each person.
Yeah, exactly. Get your pizzas, and so it's a good time to go out there and be in the community. But because you're picking what you want to be on, you're going to meet other people you probably don't know.
Yeah.
And you'll be serving alongside other people from businesses locally, other nonprofits, people from churches, people from community gardens, or just individuals in Clarkston who want to make a difference.
That's amazing. I love the community aspect of this.
Yeah.
It just feels like, in a time when people feel a little disconnected, it helps people come together and feel more connected.
And I think there's so much need right now. Not that there hasn't always been need, but I know I dropped food off at Lighthouse recently, and every year we do this can drive, and it does seem like every year there's more and more need. So I feel like it's amazing and probably needed now more than ever.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of things because of, obviously, with the price of groceries going up. Everybody watching knows that there are people who can't afford as much as they used to get. And if you want to get them nutritious food, the community gardens that grow the vegetables locally, it's a great way to get them fresh vegetables when they don't always have access to get that. But then there's also food distribution places to help them get to it. But if they can't get there or they don't know about it, then it does them no good. A lot of people that we do help that are impoverished don't have transportation or reliable transportation. So how do they get to the food? And so we want to help them, empower them to get there if they can. But the other thing you mentioned is, now we're still, we're out of COVID. We all feel like, hey, we're out of COVID, we're back to normal. There are a lot of people we help, especially seniors, who still haven't gotten back to the normal, the pre-COVID normal.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the volunteers that we have that either go to do the yard work or the home repairs, we find that a lot of the seniors, we spend more time just visiting and talking than actually doing the work.
Yeah.
My son, when he goes to volunteer with me, he always laughs, Dad, are we going to take work today or are we just going to talk? Because a lot of times we'll just have great conversations with somebody. And it reminds me of having conversations with my mom and the things that we used to talk about. And they just look for someone to talk with. And then while you're there, can you take and fix the light bulb that's out or do whatever? And we do need to reach out to our members in the community who are basically isolated and they're kind of invisible. So what you mentioned earlier about, helping, you can go to the website and sign up a neighbor that needs help because they may not do it themselves. But we don't want anybody being isolated these days. it's safe to go outside again.
Yeah, and like when you were saying too, there's opportunities for preschoolers, there's opportunities for everybody. Yes. There's opportunities for talkers.
There absolutely are.
And I think that's listed on your website.
Yes.
Is yes.
Yep. People who just listen, people who love to listen. Yeah. Because if you just like to listen to people, because there are people who say, listen, I don't have these kinds of skills, but I would love to spend an hour or two a week just talking with someone, whether it's face to face, on the phone, Zoom, whatever medium they decide to choose. I prefer they get together, but if they can't, then they can get together some other way, because there are people who just have zero human contact for weeks at a time in Clarkston, which just blows my mind. We think about an affluent area and everybody's so well connected and all that, but they're not. Right. There are those people who we just don't see, and maybe it's a small percentage, but they're people too, and they need help.
It reminds me of when we were talking with Dean on the podcast. He was talking about one of the goals of his business, Rebel Moments, is to humanize athletes and to make everyone's a person. Everyone needs them. We're talking about human connection. That's the same what you're talking about. It doesn't matter who you are. Everyone needs that connection. So I think that's really impactful, if I can use that word.
Yeah, you can. One of the things that was kind of an epiphany, or something that just kind of hit us, we've been doing this for like 12 or 13 years helping people. But when we see the people we've helped the most, it's the people that we've built kind of a lasting relationship with. So there's some senior citizens that I've probably seen the last 10 years. I see them at least twice a year. And we've got a friendship now. There's some other people we've helped with home repairs more recently who I can say now are actually friends of mine. And there were people that I would have never met, going downtown and having dinner at the wood shop. We live in different groups, and meeting them this way and learning from them. And yes, they're going through some struggles, but I've gone through struggles in my life. We all do. And we all need a hand up at some time. And I was just put in place by the Lord this time to help that person. We develop great relationships that last. And it's that kind of friendship that we're looking for. We're not trying to just check a box, say, look at us, we did great volunteer work. That we're not in it for that. Even though we're on a podcast here, we're on social media.
Well, you gotta let people know.
Not about me. It's about helping those people. That's what we're trying to do. Yes.
I did see too the calendar of events on your website, and it looked like there's a meeting coming up, like at Brioni.
Yes.
Is that open to the public, or how do people get involved?
So great point. So there's a couple of ways to get involved. If we do have planning meetings for our different services we offer, so home repairs, yard cleanup, and then the community gardens and food distribution. And the home repair group has been meeting more regularly through the winter because we still do home repairs in the winter. And so we meet once a month at Brioni's Cafe on Main Street and have coffee. We do a little book study on how to help without hurting people. And it basically talks about, it's a little training on what you're going to run into out in the field as you're talking to people and you're meeting neighbors that you haven't met before. How do you make sure you're helping them without actually making their situation worse?
Got it.
Because sometimes your best intentions are the wrong thing. Just a little snippet there. If you think you can throw money at poverty and fix it, you're wrong. So it's the worst thing to do. So we do that. We talk about the projects. We assign leaders to the projects. We do a little book study. And we do that once a month. That is coming up and is on our website. But next Tuesday, the 12th, we're having it. March 12th, and then again in early April, we'll have a planning meeting. We're to get our yard cleanup planning meetings going in April. So if you check out the website and look at the calendar, you'll see planning meetings for specifically yard cleanup. And then we'll have some for people who love to do the gardening and want to be involved in that as well.
Not me.
But if there's not an event on there saying, listen, I just want to volunteer. I don't want to come to a planning meeting. I want to volunteer. You can go to the volunteer page and just put in your basic information, and that will get you on our distribution list. So when the things are coming up saying, hey, we need some people this weekend, we're going to be roofing a house. Who wants to volunteer this coming weekend? You'll get on that distribution list, and we'll push the emails out to you. For kind of safety and security of some of the homeowners, we don't put every homeowner's project on the calendar stating where it is, because we don't want the wrong people to see who's out there that might need help or who's a senior citizen living alone. So those kind of things are shared secretively. As we're talking about that, we do background checks on our volunteers and our volunteer leaders. We do background checks on the homeowners we serve. We want everybody to be able to serve in a safe environment. We want kids who are going to help out somebody to know that person they're helping out isn't on a sex offender registry list. Likewise, we want homeowners to know that the people that are coming to their home or inside their home are good, upstanding people. We've done background checks on them, that they're not going to have any kind of situation or issue with them as well. So we try to make sure this is a safe way for people to get involved and get service.
Smart. Do you work with, I imagine, local organizations like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts? who have groups that want to volunteer?
So,
Society.
there are all kinds of groups that sign up. We don't have like a direct relationship with Boy Scouts of America or anything like that,
Yeah.
but we do have scouting troops that always volunteer throughout the year, not just on the 2 big weekends. So that's a great way to get involved. I know that other nonprofits, Rotary and other groups have been involved before. And then there are businesses who say, hey, we've got 6 or 7 people who want to go out and volunteer together. Health Quest here in town did send out some teams several times to help people out. It's a great way to take and get involved as a group. And volunteering, kind of doing that experience with coworkers, is a great team building experience. So kind of shout out to people looking for, how do I get something new for my team to go do?
Yeah.
That's a great thing to do, and it costs nothing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when is the November weekend? Which weekend is it?
It's the first weekend in November.
Okay.
So I think it's the 4th and 5th this year, but we always do the last full weekend in April, the first full weekend in November. So in November, think leaf raking, cleanup.
Yeah.
It's most of the leaves have fallen. We've had a couple of years where we've had nice weather and the leaves are still on the trees, so we didn't do a lot of raking. And we've had 2 years where it snowed.
Yeah.
And so we've laughed, bring your shovel the snow, and then like rake the leaves. And then in April, we got a lot of spring cleanup. So it's pick up the branches, trim the hedges, and all that kind of stuff outside that we do. And of course, both times you're either winterizing the community garden or getting ready for the planting. And then the home repairs are always in need. We do a lot more winterization in the fall, and in the spring we've got everything going on: plumbing issues, roof leak issues, all kinds, because it's a rainy season, so that's
So
going
you
on.
end up with plumbers and electricians and all of these people volunteering their time.
We do. We've got some great skilled tradespeople, and we've got a lot of people I call general laborers like myself who have no training in building trades, but having a licensed plumber, we have a master plumber who volunteers with us often. Shout out to Jason. I mean, those guys are invaluable. We have a couple of professional builders who can take and spec out the bigger projects. And then we have some smaller stuff, like there's some rotted deck boards. You know, weekend warriors can go out and buy some lumber, and you'll go to Home Depot or Menards, pick up the lumber, come out, cut it, and install it. That's pretty straightforward. But yeah, we do have professionals, and it really helps. Electricians, we always need electricians as well. That always seems to be a common issue that people have. We got professional roofer Terry Burr. He's done a fantastic job at patching or replacing roofs. Has been serving with us from, well, longer than I have been, actually.
This might be, I don't know if it's a sensitive question, but are there repeat customers, and is that something that you're trying to, like you talked about giving a hand out? So are there people who are like, oh, they're going to come back every year? Is that something you have to deal with, or how do you handle that scenario?
We do have a lot of, we call them neighbors, and basically it comes from scripture, you know, love your neighbor as yourself. And so we want to treat the people that we interact with as we would treat ourselves or our family members, you know, with respect and integrity that they deserve. But there are a lot of people who, if they're a senior citizen and they have no family members locally, this year they probably have the same issue next year. And so we've got a lot of seniors that we see constantly. I have one of our volunteers calls them perennials because they pop up every year. And but we get to build a relationship. We get to see them every year and what's going on in their life and what's happening. And yes, we rake their leaves and clean up the yard and that kind of thing. And typically they making some great food, some cookies, you know, that kind of fun stuff. So I always love going out and visiting with them. But we also have homeowners who are maybe living in a you know, in the poverty zone. And so their home may need multiple repairs, and they may need more than just home repair. They may need help with access to food or transportation. They may have other needs with services for their children, if they have school-age children, and we want to connect them with those people. And what I don't want to do a little bit of need, but I really help their situation.
Right.
And if we can help them get on a path to where they want to be, that's what we'd love to do. And that's not going to happen in 1 or 2 meetings. That's going to take several get-togethers and building a friendship and a long-term relationship.
Well, you talked about connecting resources too. That's a big deal. Like having someone here, I'm here today, and here's what I'm going to connect you with, and that's really important. In our community. And it's interesting you say, like, you know, with Clarkson, a lot of people think everyone's fine, but not everyone's fine, and it's really important to. I feel like if you can help. And if maybe it's just these 2 weekends or maybe a little bit more, it's a really great way to reach out and connect. So I'm really happy you guys are still going strong.
It's a good point. We have some volunteers who love to help out once a month. We have some volunteers that help out once a year. And it's whatever can fit in your schedule. And it wasn't so long ago that I had 2 kids in school and we were running to soccer games and karate matches and you name it. We were go and between work and travel and all that. And you know, the thought of volunteering every month would just be scary. But typically, a volunteer session or time frame is 1 to 3 hours. We've got some volunteers like to do that every week. they got the time to do that, and they make time to do that. Others say once a year I can make time on a weekend, and I'll carve that out, and I'll go with my family. And so, like Clarkson Family Farm or even the leaf raking, a lot of families will serve together, mom, dad, kids, cousins, and they'll go out along with other groups. When we do rake leaves at a house, it's like 15 to 20 people go.
Wow.
And we'll do like 3 houses. We used to call it rake and run, but the idea was you go to one house as a SWAT team and you rake up, 50 bags of leaves, and you go out to the next house, then you go to the next house. It's a lot easier raking someone's lawn when there's another 10 or 15 people leaning on a rake, or they bring those big leaf blowers.
Yeah.
I love those people that bring the leaf blowers. They're making the job a whole lot easier. So
I think too, when you're saying like the stage of your life, right? Like you have kids, you're busy, maybe giving your time is difficult, but can people donate financially too?
yes,
Okay.
we do have people that say that I just can't right now because either I'm busy or I'm going to be, that's a great weekend, but I'm out of town.
Yeah.
We're taking a vacation. We even have some seniors who say, you've served me for quite a while and I wish I could give back, but I just can't physically do much.
Yeah.
And they can make a donation on our website. You can either give electronically on there. There's a way to basically just plug in your information on the website and donate that way. Or if you want to mail in a physical check, there's instructions on how to do that as well.
Are there materials that you take donations of as well? Like, I have some extra paint or whatever. Like, how does that? Is there a list on the website?
So we don't take materials. We don't have a physical, like a warehouse to store things. What we do though is sometimes when we do have a specific project coming up, we will work with local businesses who've been fantastic at giving us a discount on the materials that we need, but we try not to have any inventory, if that makes sense. We will work with the Habitat for Humanity Restore, go to their location to get some things like that. So if anybody says, hey, I've got some paint, or I've got some tools, or I've got a couple of old doors or windows, and I want to donate them, I would donate them to places like the Habitat for Humanity Restore because they're a good partner of ours.
And where is that? Is that Pontiac?
That's down in Pontiac on N59.
Okay.
And so they're a great group to deal with. Other people say, well, what if I want to donate some things to help out people who maybe they need furniture or they need clothes? In that situation, we typically work with Oakland Hope.
Okay.
And if they donate to Oakland Hope, again, we can send homeowners there to not only get goods like furniture and clothing and stuff, but they're also a food pantry and they also have social services counseling there. So Oakland Hope is kind of a one-stop shop. Norman and her team are fantastic, but people donate. Now on Impact Weekend, specifically coming up, we do a collection for a group called Humble Design. And Humble Design's focus is on helping people move from homelessness to their first apartment or home. And so we will collect things like dressers and desks and tables and chairs, so some kind of furniture or home furnishing items that you would basically take an empty apartment and make it ready for someone to move in from basically a homeless shelter into maybe their first home ever.
Okay.
And so we will do a collection on Impact Weekends, and those collections are actually taken to Church of the Resurrection on Clarkston Road, and they will actually collect goods on Saturday and on Sunday for Humble Design.
Okay.
So now if you want to donate to Humble Design outside of that weekend, you can always go check out their website.
Right.
They'd be glad to have some things. And they've got a huge warehouse of furnishings for homes. But what a fantastic way to help somebody who maybe has been living in a homeless shelter for a very long time, or maybe always been living in a situation where they didn't know where their home was going to be. They do all the background stuff, help them get into an apartment or a home, and then they furnish it so when you walk in, it feels like a home. And the rate of recidivity, people moving back into homelessness, is greatly decreased if the home is furnished. It's like 3 times likelihood of them being successful if their home is furnished.
What was the name of the place where you said you could donate doors and windows?
So we do the Habitat Restore.
Okay.
So Habitat for Humanity Restore, R-E-S-T, restore, like the word store.
Yeah.
But it's done on N59.
Okay. I'm gonna link all of those.
Yeah.
Later. That's a good thing.
And that's been through Habitat for Humanity Oakland County. Again, main sponsor of My Habitat Clarkston for years.
Okay.
And they've got the right skills and the right people to basically handle that that kind of warehousing thing. And you can donate things there. You can also buy things there. So if you want to go in and you're fixing up your place, and you want to go in and get appliances, toilets, doors, fixtures, small things, handles, knobs, paint, screws, tools. They have all that used things at a discount at the Habitat Restore.
Yeah.
So much great stuff going on.
Yeah.
So.
I could talk forever. I know you're probably going to wonder when we're going to run out of time here, but I had 2 cups of coffee this morning, so you're getting fully leaded, Russ.
It's great. Are there any other community events that are coming up that that we didn't talk about that you'd like to promote or do a shout out for?
So we don't have any main big weekend events yet. We are talking about trying to do something in the summers where maybe we go to one of the local mobile home parks, trailer parks, and partner up with them and basically rock the block. Just do a big cleanup effort with them, partnering with the mobile home park management and the citizens who live in that community, and then bring our folks in there and try to do something. We haven't got it going yet, but we're going to model up after what Habitat for Humanity does, called Rock the Block. And so we just need, if there's any of the mobile home park managers who are watching, reach out to us on our website. We'd love to partner with you, probably in the summer, and make it a big weekend event where we can really dramatically lift up an entire neighborhood, involving their neighbors, their community members, as well as their staff, local businesses, and our volunteers.
I love the visual when you said SWAT team. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
When you guys go in and like do all the yards?
Yeah.
And then I think Chelsea O'Brien always says this, what, like many hands make light work.
Yep.
And that's just, that's
We
great.
dig it.
Yeah.
Cheers, Chelsea.
Yes.
Did you mention this, or maybe you could tell us, when is or do you have a main fundraiser that people should be aware of? Do you have an event? How does that work for you guys, or is it just trickle in?
That's a great question that I did not answer.
Okay.
So we do not yet have a main, like a fundraiser event. We're not doing like a gala event or a golf outing. So we're taking donations from businesses at all times and from individuals. Right now we are looking for sponsors to sponsor our spring impact weekend. So any sponsor who gives more than $1,000 will have their name in the back of the t-shirts, and we give out 500 to 600 t-shirts a year. And so if you're a sponsor,
and I feel like your t-shirts are super noticeable.
They are. They're bright yellow shirts. Yeah.
They do not go unnoticed.
And so we're printing up new shirts. So if there's any businesses watching and you want to be a sponsor, contact me. My information's on the website, and we'd love to have you as a sponsor. I can give you more information about it. Again, we're a 501c3, so it is tax deductible. And again, none of our volunteers take pay for that. So the money that you give goes to helping those who need it the most in our area. Our volunteers, like the electricians, the plumbers and all that, they donate their time. And if anybody's hired a plumber, electrician, or a builder lately, you know they're $7,500 an hour for that. And some of these people will give 4 to 6 hours a week of their time at no cost to the homeowner. And then we're just paying for a new sink or a toilet or some roofing materials. And so the cost that we can help a lot of people with a little bit of a donation. So when a business gives $1,000 or $2,500, it helps us help multiple families in this area. And again, there's so many families within a 5-mile radius of downtown that are living in poverty. You probably drive right past their neighborhood, you never realize it. Or they're senior citizens who are living in some of the older homes, the single family homes that are ranches in the area, and they're from the 1960s. Well, guess what? They're 65 years old. They're starting to break down. And a little bit of money goes a long way to helping those people who don't have anywhere else to turn.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. It's so hyper local.
Yes.
All about parks and entertainment.
And there's need everywhere, you know, and I do think helping outside of the community is great too, but I think that this is amazing.
Yeah, we're very focused here. People say, well, why don't you go all the way to Pontiac and Flint? We have done a few projects as far north as Flint. We've helped out My Brother's Keeper up there. We've done some work in Pontiac as well. But some of those places already have a lot of big volunteer groups. And there is, from our knowledge, there weren't any really focused in on this part of North Oakland County.
Yeah.
There's a group in Rochester that we partner with. There's a group in Lake Orion, Oxford area that we partner with sometimes. So if they get a need in their area and we've got volunteers in that area, we'll go help build a wheelchair ramp for them. So we work with the guys from FaithWorks in Rochester, work with Love Inc. in Lake Orion. And so again, kind of together, let's partner to help everybody in North Oakland County. But within Clarkston, Independence Township, we want to be able to help people who probably have been, again, invisible or unnoticed by the folks that think, oh, Clarkston is so wealthy. You know, they don't get any help. And they're amazed by what they'll find if they just drive through some of the neighborhoods.
I do feel like that's a perfect part to end on, but instead I'm going to keep going. Well, even just with some of our elementary schools, I know I've had some conversations about how, you know, like there are food pantries and like such need in these schools and these areas. It's not that everybody is thriving and doing amazing.
No.
And so there need to be resources here. And I think that it's an amazing thing you guys are doing.
You just made me think of another partnership we have is with Blessings in a Backpack. And so we do have people who volunteer on a regular basis already, but on our impact weekends, we often have a special event for Blessings in a Backpack. So sometimes you do have youth packing backpacks full of food for other youth. And unfortunately, there's a bit of a stigma. And so there are people in our community who could use food who will not pick up the backpacks at school because they don't want to be seen as, oh, you're one of those. People need food, and it's amazing. That gives over 500 families that get food each weekend. Blessings in a Backpack. So people can volunteer there. We've got a number of schools that basically form their own work groups on Impact Weekend. And so I think we got something from Clarkston Elementary already. Pine Tree has done stuff, Renaissance High School, and they basically have, beautifying the school or doing something outside, building a Gaga ball pit, which I had no idea what a Gaga ball pit was. But they do those kinds of projects, and it's led by involved parents, teachers, maybe the custodians there. They form a work group, and they work on Impact Weekend, and we drop off our famous pretzel bun sandwiches on Saturdays or Little Caesars pizzas on Sundays to help them as they're out there basically giving back. So teaching young kids to volunteer and give back to their community is so important to do. When today's society is all about me, and how many likes I have on social media. No, it's about helping other people.
Yeah.
So teaching them at a young age is fantastic. So if you have kids in school, all H school children, you can volunteer at your school most likely, or through one of our other projects. Just go to our website, click on Impact Weekend, and find the project that suits you and your family.
Oh my gosh, last question. Do you guys have an office on Dixie?
So we don't have a physical office. Yeah, we don't have a.
An address.
Yes, we don't. We don't have a specific office location because we are a group of multiple organizations. Right now, we have 5 churches that are always involved.
Okay.
We've got 4 others that do get involved from time to time. We have dozens of businesses involved, several other nonprofits. But we want to keep our costs low, so we don't have a storefront. We don't rent anywhere. We don't own anything. But some people need to send in a check.
Yeah.
Right.
And so Waypoint Church has offered to accept the checks that are mailed through snail mail.
Okay.
So when you see the address on our website, it's Waypoint's address because we have to have a mailbox. And why
We
spend
understand.
why spend $100 renting a mailbox at UPS when I don't need to?
Oh, that's smart.
Well, I can see why Sissy asked us to
Yeah.
connect us with you. You're such a good spokesperson for what you're,
Thank you.
what you're doing and all the energy you bring. And I'm excited to get out there and volunteer and spread the word. So.
Well, thank you for giving us a chance to talk to the community. And again, people have questions, check out the website, thecommunityimpactteam.org. A lot of ways to get involved. You can ask for help if you need help or someone needs help. You can volunteer. You can donate. If you're a company, you can be a partner with us. You can be a sponsor if you want to get financially. There's just ways for everybody to plug in, whether it's one day a year or every month.
What a great retirement gig you're doing.
I
Fantastic.
know. What a great way to retire, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Go to the website, everybody.
Okay.
You got it.
Always takes a second.
I know. It's a little late.
Where it went.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I don't know.
Come look at your phone.
Let's see. Let me see if I can go.
Oh, maybe X.
There you go.